Lobsters exist. That's right. Lobsters definitely exist. No one disagrees on this. And yet, lobsterists continue to insist that they don't have the burden of proof to show that The Lobsterist is a true and real book. They haven't even bothered to read it. Yet they continue to maintain their disbelief in LOD. How shameful. How disgraceful. They are the new lobsterists. The old ones at least would say that there's no LOD. Now the new ones are like, they just don't believe in it. They just redefine the word. We know, come on. But you're making a positive claim. You're claiming there isn't one. We all know that that's your claim. Even if you say it is your claim or is it not, we know. Come on. Stop changing the word, okay? You just don't. You saying that there's no LOD, that we know that, okay? So just stop changing the word, all right? So obviously the lobsterist, as I am one, we don't have a burden because it's obvious that LOD is true. It's obvious that LOD is real. It's obvious that there is a LOD. And if you said there was, well, you just haven't read The Lobsterist. And I know that. I know that because they deny it. They deny it in their hearts. They deny it in their minds. They deny it out loud. They deny that LOD is real. They won't even give them the time of day. They won't even spend a moment to read The Lobsterist. How shameful. Now, maybe you're an lobsterist, or maybe you're saying, well, I've never heard of lobsterist. That's a made-up thing. No, it's not. No, it's not. It's a legitimate, real thing. In fact, it's the only real thing as far as reality goes. I mean, it's the one and true and only real religion for real. And I'm pretty sure it says something like that in there. And as far as it not being real, I mean, come on, I've got proof that it is right here. Look, there it is. There's the lobsters. Look, you can flip through it and you can actually read it. Look, it's got page numbers and everything. It's not even that long of a book. Look, it's 30 pages. Well, 31 pages and then 32 is blank, but 31 pages. It's not that long. Yet they won't read it. They won't. Okay, I guess you could even minus the first page out. So it's like 31 pages, basically. And you could even skip the preface. It's like 30 pages, really, to read through. But no, they don't want to do that. They don't want to read it. Why not? You know that there's a lot. Come on, JCO. JCO Journey and others like him who continue to not understand that The Lobsterist is the only thing that you need. And ignore everybody that's saying that you're wrong. It's just opinion. Who cares? Yeah. Even if they point out the specific logical fallacies that you don't understand because you haven't learned informal logic, don't worry about it. Just keep insisting that you're right. That's how we do things, right? Yeah. Just don't listen to anyone else. Don't actually engage with the real problem, which is that you don't have any evidence for your claims. That's the problem. And you point to bad arguments as your evidence. Oh, that's just wonderful. Oh, yeah. Oh, look, William Lane Craig has made an argument. Yeah, his argument sucks. Oh, that's your opinion. No, it is a fact that his argument contains multiple logic fallacies. Just saying its opinion doesn't negate it. But meanwhile, the lobsterist, on the other hand, has zero logical fallacies, and you have never disproven it at all. You've never shown that it's false, and you have the burden to show it's false. JCO and others like him, who don't understand how anything works, continues to not admit to the fact that he has the burden of proof when it comes to the lobsterist. He has to provide proof for his claim that Lobsterist is not true, that the Lobsterist, the book The Lobsterist, that the things it contains aren't true, and that there isn't a LOD. He has to prove that. He has never proven that. Therefore, he has failed his burden of proof. And he has not yet proven it. So he needs to prove it. He needs to hurry up and get on that. And the fact is, as far as arguments go, if you want arguments for the lobsterist, they're in the Lobsterist. You have to read the Lobsterist, okay? I'm not going to read it to you. I'm not going to do the homework for you. You have to read it, and then you have to debunk it. And if you can't or won't, then we all know that you're a charlatan and a fraud. We all know that. Absolutely. Now, in this video here that he has, he's complaining about that atheists don't have the burden of proof, and he conflates what atheism is to what it was, and they changed the definition, when. There's just lack theists, when, complaint. Meanwhile, never showing the burden of proof of God even a little, never giving any evidence for God, just complaining that atheists, obviously have the burden of proof. Yeah, he needs to explain what a square circle is, too. Yeah, he has never done that. So, why are atheists always saying that the theist has the burden of proof when they have the burden of proof? Well, you would understand that if you had read The Lobsterist. It explains all that. Now, okay, look, maybe you've already read The Lobsterist. I know Blaster Master, he's read The Lobsterist. So he understands, as I do, that it doesn't say that like verbatim, but it's metaphorical. You gotta understand it. But I can't even talk about it because he's never read it. JCO has never read The Lobsterist. So how could he possibly hope to debunk it? He's never debunked it. Prove that it isn't true. Prove there is no LOD. And yes, you are saying that there is no LOD. Unless you're saying that you don't believe in LOD. But come on, nobody ever says that. Nobody just says that they don't believe in something. They've changed the word. You've changed the meaning of the word of a lobsterist. Come on. Prove there isn't a LOD. Come on.
You serious?
Well, duh.
This principle is rooted in philosophical definitions of these terms and even in the lack theist terms, which we'll explore later. Throughout history, both theist and atheist philosophers have presented arguments to support their respective positions.
All right, appeal to historicity. Yeah, that's what this argument is. So appeal to historicity is when you go, hey, look, in history they did X, and therefore X is still true today. No, X is not true today. Yes, they did that in history. Do they do it today? Maybe. I don't know. What do they do currently? I don't care what they did. I care what they do. Although I might not care what they do today, but we'll get to that.
Theist philosophers like Thomas Aquinas and William Lane Craig have provided robust arguments for the existence of a God. On the other
robust. Okay, so Aquinas' 5 ways are completely invalid from top to bottom and have multiple scientific errors, which you would understand had you learned informal logic or science, which I don't think you have. And asked many times, JCO, I've asked him if he's learned informal logic. He dances around. He hasn't learned it. And basic science, I don't know if he's really followed up on learning that. He just keeps making these videos complaining that atheists have the burden of proof. And, I've been ignoring him for a while, but, I don't know. I came across a video of his and I was like, why not? Beat the dead horse. Might as well, because like I said, he's got the burden of proof when it comes to LOD not existing, and he hasn't, done it. So Aquinas' movement stuff for God, that actually doesn't prove God. That proves LOD. That's the problem. It's not arguing for the God that you want it to. It's actually arguing for the real deity, which is LOD. It's just Thomas didn't know that. As far as William Lane Craig goes, the only thing he's got is the Kalam cosmological argument, which is broken in multiple ways that I've covered in the KCA video that I made, which JCO never listened to or paid any attention to. And even if he had, it wouldn't matter because he doesn't understand informal logic. So he wouldn't understand the logical fallacies or why they're there. He'd just say, it's just an opinion, That's all he ever does. I know, I've talked to him. It's on my channel somewhere. I don't know. If you want the link, let me know. I'll post the link in the comment if you can't find it yourself. Anyways, neither of these people have offered robust arguments for God. They've offered arguments for God. And I'm not sure what robust means anyways. Either the argument is sound or it's unsound. All their arguments are unsound. They have multiple logical fallacies in them and scientific errors as well. I almost said fallacies, scientific errors as well. Now, that's not just opinion, that is fact. And JCO doesn't like that fact, so he's going to pretend it's an opinion. Now, I can point out all the fallacies and all the scientific errors, but it doesn't matter because you don't understand those subjects. So even if I do point them out to you, you're not going to understand them. And even if you did understand them, you wouldn't care because you need to defend your idea of God. But what you haven't offered is proof, not an argument, proof. We want proof. And by proof, we mean evidence. We don't mean an argument. We mean evidence, empirical evidence, repeatable tests. That's what we want. You don't have it. We know you don't have it. You guys have never had it. Meanwhile, the Lobsterist has plenty of proof. But again, it's all in the Lobsterist, and so you have to read it to find out what proof it has. Again, I'm not going to read it to you. You're going to have to read it for yourself all the way from front to back. Once you've done that, then go ahead and refute it. I dare you. No one's done it. Until you have, you don't have any leg to stand on, JCO. What else you got to say about atheists I don't care about?
On the other hand, atheist philosophers like Richard Dawkins and Graham Opie have offered compelling arguments against the non-existence of a God or the existence of no God, or something like that. Both sides have engaged deeply with the burden of proof. It's important to understand that the statement, the theist has to provide the burden of proof, is misleading. Theists, in general, have already provided the burden of proof through various arguments and evidence.
Wrong. Not all theists have done that. Some theists have offered arguments, but no theist has ever actually upheld the burden of proof. You would understand that if you understood the burden of proof, but you don't. And I've explained the burden of proof to you many times. We've gone over it. We've talked about it. You still don't understand it. But of course you don't understand it. You haven't read The Lobsterist. Again, I'm just going to keep going back to The Lobsterist. Until you read that, you won't understand these things.
However, whether an individual accepts this as proof that God exists is a different matter altogether. This distinction is crucial. Providing the burden of proof and accepting it are two separate issues. Both can be.
Yeah, but they've never actually succeeded in offering a burden of proof. They've never actually fulfilled that because what they don't have is evidence, which is what we've been asking for forever. Old, new atheists, doesn't matter. We're asking for evidence. You guys don't have it. All you have are arguments. You would understand that had you read The Lobsterist. I mean, it's still just, it's like talking to a brick wall or something. But yes, you still have the burden. You personally still have the burden of proof. And if you make an argument, you still have the burden of proof. Because the argument is not proof. And you would understand that if you understood informal logic, but you don't. So what are we going to do with you? I mean, I can't explain to you how chess works unless you, I don't know, agree to learn the rules of chess. And so I've said many times to this guy, hey, learn informal logic. I don't think you have. And he's like, whatever he said,
Be true simultaneously, especially in the case of philosophical discussions. Recognizing that both theists and atheists bear the burden of proof for their claims is essential for fair.
But they don't. They just don't. The theist has the burden and the non-theist doesn't. Period. End of story. Yeah, that's just how it works. And no, that's how it is. That's just how reality is. Until you can demonstrate that there's no LOD, you have failed at every single conceivable level that you could fail. Prove there isn't a LOD. Prove that LOD does not exist. Prove the LOBs. I dare you. All right. So that's it. I'm done with him. Just wah. You have the burden of proof. And you know what this gets us? Nowhere. It gets us nowhere. Well, you have the burden of proof. No, you have the burden of proof. You have the... Look, just offer me evidence, and then it's done. Just show me the thing. I'm tired. I'm just so tired of endless philosophical mumbo jumbo. I'm tired of the argument. I'm just want the evidence, and you don't have it. So just admit that. All you have is faith, and then we can get on with our lives. And I know it's true because I've read The Lobsterist, unlike you, JCO, who refuses to do so. Debunk the Lobsterist. I dare you. And until then, you have the proof. You have failed the burden of proof. Now, for the rest of you out there that enjoy my videos or don't enjoy my videos, but enjoy and or don't enjoy, I don't know. For the rest of you that may or may not be listening at this moment, thanks for listening. And if you didn't listen, screw you. I guess I could say anything if you're not listening and you wouldn't know. It's kind of weird to think about. How would we, what? Yeah. It'd be exhausting to go around disproving everything before you can reject anything. Yeah, it would be. So really the state is, I'm walking along and someone's like, hey, there's an apple tree down the road. And I'm like, well, that's cool. That's really nice to know. I'm just about to go inside my house right here, though. I'm exhausted. I just walked 5 miles. I'm tired. I could really use an apple, but I got to go in and sit down. Yeah, but if you just go, it might be there, How about this? You give me an apple. Why can't you go get the apple for me? Bring it to me, and I'll believe you then. No. Of course there's an apple tree. Why would I lie about there being an apple tree? That's silly. We've all seen apple trees. Look, man. I'm going inside. I'm sitting down. I'm like, look, you want to come in? We can talk if you want. I've got water here. We can have some water. I don't have any apples. After I rest a little bit, we can go eat an apple. But there's an apple tree. Great. Go get me an apple. I don't, no, you need to go get it. I don't feel like it, I don't feel like moving right now. I'll go check in a bit, right? Now, continuing that story, since I started a story, now I have to finish it. So then he rests a while. And it's like, all right. We've had our water. All right, let's go. Show me where this apple tree is. Well, look, I can't show you where it is. Why not? You said you saw it. I said it was down the road. I didn't say which road it was down. Wait, how do you know there's an apple tree then? Oh, I read about it in a book. Oh, really? Okay, can you trust this book? Well, a lot of people believe it. Yeah, okay, but look, can you just show me this apple tree? No, I don't know where it is. Oh, so you don't know that there's an apple tree. Oh, yeah? Nah. Well, prove there isn't an apple tree. I never said there wasn't an apple tree. No. You said there wasn't an apple tree. And I said, I don't believe you that there is an apple tree because you haven't shown me the apple tree. And in fact, you don't even know where the apple tree is. You said, well, I knew where it was, according to the book. Okay, so it was there and it's not there now? Well, it's still there. I'm just not sure where. How do you know it's anywhere then? You said there was an apple tree down the road. Now you're saying you don't even know which road or where it is or even if it's there. And you're saying it's all from a book. This doesn't make a lot of sense. You have to prove there's no apple tree. What? You have to prove there's no apple tree. What? Prove there's no apple tree. Look, you believe there's an apple tree, right? Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Do you have proof that there's an apple tree? I have this great argument that there's an apple tree. Do you have proof that there's an apple tree? I have an argument that there's an apple tree. Do you have proof that there's an apple tree? I have an argument that there's an apple tree. Get out of my house. Then the guy leaves. And he's like, oh my God. And then he's like, well, I'm just going to go out back. I have orange trees. And then he eats an orange. The end. Yeah. So anyways, doesn't understand the burden of proof, continues to not understand it, even though I've told him how it works a zillion times. And other people exist like him who just don't get it and won't get it and won't understand it. And the ultimate reason is twofold. One, they don't learn informal logic. Secondly, they don't read the Lobsterists. Now, the second one may or may not be as important as the first. Now, you, yes, you, that are listening right now, whoever you might be, if you think that you've learned informal logic, and or you think, hey, maybe I need a refresher course on informal logic. You know, I've been thinking maybe I should try to teach it. I don't know that I could do it, but if I get like enough people that really want to learn it, then I'll do it. But it's like it's gonna have to be at least 5 people that really do actually want me to try to do that. And so if you really want to, and you would be there and be like every X day at X time, whatever, you know, then, you know, so 5 comments that say, yes, I want to learn informal logic, then I'll do that. If not, then, you know, I'll be lazy. Because there's plenty of places to learn online that aren't me. So, anyways, that's all for today, I guess. Or it might be all for today. Maybe I'll find something else to do. I probably won't, though. So until next time, be skeptical. And after that, stay skeptical. Lobsterist. Lobsters. Lobsters exist.